Hello and welcome to another episode of Hangar Ready Cosmic Coven. Cosmic Coven. I am your host tonight, Jaglyn, and with me is my co-host Dora the Destroyer.
Hi.
Hello, Dora. How are you doing tonight?
Not bad. Looking forward to the weekend. How about you?
Yes, I am looking for the weekend.
It's been
So,
a long
how's
week.
yeah, it has, hasn't it? With all the problems.
Mhm.
Well, so I watched Inside Star Citizen from last week, and it was the mission to modules.
Mhm.
Um, and so the modules that they are doing is to help streamline, I guess, the missions, make them more dynamic and give you like a different experience for each mission.
Mhm.
Um, so they may add like enemy encounters. You may get one in your mission, you may not. What do you think about these new mission modules?
To be completely honest with you, I'm kind of unsure. Like I didn't really understand what exactly it was going to do for us. Some people were trying to explain it to me, but again, without going back over it all, like and picking every single piece apart, I didn't fully understand what they were saying.
Well, it looks like they are gonna basically turn, I guess, the pieces into modules, like where they can
Yeah.
pick and choose what the different missions will do. So you won't get like the same mission, I guess.
Hmm.
Like you may get an enemy, you may not get an enemy. Or
Yeah.
and so and they'll be able to sorry. They'll be able to add more missions a lot quicker too
Hmm.
with it. Um but I don't know. I'm not gonna like getting enemy encounters. I get very flustered when when I get attacked unexpectedly.
Yeah.
So they may, do it where you have to kind of go with people, to do these missions.
Yeah. If I'm by myself and I get like any kind of enemy encounter, my first instinct is to run. So if I'm in my
Mine is
ship,
too.
full speed, I'm gone. I'm
That's
not
how I am
staying.
too. Yeah, because I'm not very good at the flight mechanics and shooting. I always lose the ship, so
Mhm.
I will probably die 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But what I do like about the missions is that like they're not like quests, you don't have to level up. They're really like a person. Uh, it's not like it's a skill as a player,
Yeah.
instead of as a level. You know what I mean? Which I
Yeah.
really like that in here.
And so, yeah, I agree. The only thing that kind of upsets me with the missions is your rep goes down if you don't complete a mission
Oh, that's true.
or
So when you
you fail.
die,
Yeah,
yeah,
and I'm prone to dying if I come across enemies. So
I agree. That is one thing I don't necessarily like. I wonder if you'll be able to pick missions specifically that don't have those encounters. It would be
yeah,
kind of nice if you could.
if you could just pick like, oh, this one wants me to explore the cave. Let me know if there's enemies in there before I go in.
Right. But I
Yeah,
think the purpose of it is to not know
yeah,
if you're going to get it or not.
true.
So,
Yeah, that's okay. It's a surprise.
right. So, what kind of bugs have you encountered since 318 came out?
Bugs. All right. So this is a fun one. What do we got? First off, login issues. It's
Right.
very hit or miss. I can get in some days, other days I struggle. Um, scanning. Scanning has been a major issue.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Well, I hate it when the elevators or the shuttles don't work because you cannot
Yes,
even
that's
get
the
to your ship, so you can't even do anything.
Or you can get to your ship, but when you land your ship, you can't get out of the hangar.
Oh, yes.
Happened a lot the last week.
Right. So what's
Yeah.
been your most annoying one?
My most annoying. It's definitely a tie between not being able to scan stuff and not being able to get back in to like store my ship from a hangar.
Okay. Have you had any funny ones? Like where you're just like, okay, that's just too weird, too funny.
Um, yeah, today I I was I couldn't drink out of my inventory and I couldn't drop anything. When I would go to like purchase something, it wouldn't show up. Uh, so you know, like like I do when when I
Right.
have people watching me, I just backspaced.
Oh.
Uh, so then I'm just stuck on a black screen and I didn't know what was going on. Well, I had a friend from ADI. He was also playing with me,
Mm.
and he took me and put me in a med bed to try and like get things moving because I was just stuck on a black screen. And the video that he showed me is I was just dancing around on the med bed.
Oh yeah. I've
Yeah.
had that before.
Yeah.
So in the episode, they had talked about crafting a little bit. Now they didn't
Hmm.
really go into any specific details or anything. Um, but apparently we'll be able to craft components and other items in the game.
Hmm.
Um, what do you think about the crafting?
Uh,
Are you looking forward to it at all?
it will be very dependent on what we can craft. Like if we can craft maybe certain like mining modules or
Right.
more lasers, then yes. Same with like the multi-tool thing. That's pretty cool. I like
Yeah,
that so far.
I have like that too. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if like you'll be able to craft on your ship or on certain ships, or like do you have to go to somewhere like a refinery to go do stuff?
Yeah.
Because like right now you can do the mining or the tool on Vulture, which
Hmm.
is really nice, and doing small items like that. Of course, you do need the resources to do that first.
Hmm.
Um, but it's going to be a pain if you need something for your ship and you have to go all the way back in,
Hmm.
get it, or can you have somebody craft it right there for you?
I feel I feel it might be where like we have to use like the multi-tool, what is it? Uh the multi-tool like where you can salvage a little bit. I feel like you're going to need to have that RMC or RCM containers,
Right,
like little. They go into the multi-tool to like repair, but they don't work at the moment.
right.
Uh, I feel like you're gonna need a bunch of those in order to craft stuff.
Yeah, you
Uh,
might need to.
yeah, so I feel like in order to craft, you're definitely gonna have to be into salvage or know somebody that's into
Right.
salvage.
So how do you think this might impact like the economy of the game?
Mm,
I think a lot of people will buy, um, crafted things, I guess.
uh, I mean, if we can buy crafted stuff from somebody else, if it's at a cheaper than just
Yeah,
going to
right.
a major city and purchasing it from there, then maybe.
Might be also convenient. Like you might
Yeah.
pay higher if it's right there
Yeah.
and you need it right then.
If it's a couple thousand more, then yeah, I'll purchase it off of somebody if they're right there. But if
Yeah.
it's out of my way, I might as well just go out of my way and go to the major cities.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah. Mm.
Um how 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 sorry. Like how complicated do you think they'll make crafting? Like I hope they don't make it so complicated that like you need to go out of your way to get one component and then to a way off different place to get another component. Like I hate it when they add too many things to go get.
And too many pit stops, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I hope they keep it kind of similar to what we have with the Vulture now, unless we get like a bigger, let's say like a bigger module for one of the ships that has something where you can craft in there. Like, yeah, I feel like it's going to become more complicated than it needs to be for the first little while
Yeah. Yeah,
until
I
they see
agree.
if it works. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so the next Inside Star Citizen was today. Did you
Hmm.
watch that? It was the Tractor Factor.
I did. Yeah, I watched it with my community today.
So right now we can pretty much only move boxes
Hmm.
and like people, I guess, and other small items.
Hmm.
So I guess in the future they're going to be adding um, ways to move bigger items um, with another handheld tool.
Hmm.
Um, but so there are limitations right now. What do you think about being able to move the bigger items and stuff?
For myself personally, I don't think I would use it too much unless, like they said, you can take your mining lasers off and change those out, or mining modules, or if something goes out on your ship, you can switch that out. I think that would be the only time that I would really use it.
Right. I think so too. Well, if you find a derelict ship,
Hmm.
you may get Jaglyn. If you find a derelict ship, you may get you may use it for that because you could pull items off of that ship and you could go sell them, or you can
Yeah.
put them on your own ship as well. But
Hmm.
of course, you have to worry about pirates sometimes for that. Uh,
Yeah. If we're gonna steal all the like guns and stuff off of the ships, then I feel like I would definitely need some kind of support along with me, because even just salvaging is, you know,
yeah,
the pirates are waiting.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I yeah.
Are you looking forward to the new tools and being able to tractor stuff?
Yeah, I think so. Um, yeah, because we'll be able to like tractor beam ships and stuff, I guess. When we get them on the ships, it'll be nice to be able to put. Hopefully, we can put larger amounts of boxes onto a ship when they start adding the tractor beams to the ships.
Mm-hmm.
Because like right now, if they do the where you got to load your ship manually,
Yeah.
hopefully you can pick up multiple boxes instead of just one at a time, because that
Mm-hmm.
is gonna just take forever to do that.
I feel like that was the whole purpose of having the mule, so that you could like transfer a bunch of boxes at one time. But I think they put the mule in way too soon. Like there's very little gameplay for that right now.
Right. Yeah, there is very little gameplay for the mule. I feel like they may have added it too soon.
Yeah. Like it's fine if you're running the box deliveries with where you have to go to the bunker for 3 boxes,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't park close because the turrets are shooting you and
Right.
whatever. You can take that in and load your boxes onto that and then take them all out that way, but they do still fall off.
Oh, really? They do?
Yeah. Yes, it's not perfect at all.
Oh, yeah. I haven't done that yet, so I don't know all that right now.
Hmm.
But let's go on to segment 3 right now. So we're gonna discuss like the different gameplay loops, like the medical and the mining and
Hmm.
salvage and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so what are some of the pros and cons of like hand mining versus like the ship and the ground mining?
Uh, Okay, so hand mining definitely doesn't pay as much as okay. So hand mining and rock mining don't pay out as much as if you're in a ship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and to be completely honest with you, hand mining reminds me of if I'm in prison.
Oh yeah.
I, like I have zero interest in it, but rock mining on the other hand, that's pretty fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it is cheaper to get it. Excuse me. It is cheaper to get it into hand mining, and
Mhm. Yeah.
the equipment is more. It's easier to take with you.
Yeah.
Um, so you can reach like, of course, the mines with the hand mining is where you go for that.
Mm.
Um, but it's not as diverse as like doing the ship.
No.
Because you can either go to the ground or you can go into space with your ship.
Hmm.
Um, but of course, the rock mining, I like the rock mining. It's kind of fun to take to take your little buggy out to go mine.
Yeah. It's nice. On the subject of like hand mining and rock mining, they are bringing another gem, so that'll be something else. I hope it pays more.
Oh, yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
know that there is like a bug right now that they have a known bug with the rock.
Hmm.
Because I think your game crashes, or it can crash when you're in your rock. So
Yeah.
I know that they said that they're trying to fix that right now.
Yeah, for some people it has, and then other people have had fantastic luck with it. I was going to go out and rock mine today, but I, I just have this obsession with my prospectors, so I, I don't go out with anything else.
Have you had any issues with like adding the modules to your prospector or adding a extra bit or anything?
Oh, changing up my
Yeah.
mining laser. No, actually, not at all.
Okay.
Um, I there was a couple times where it kind of just sat on the loadout screen, and then it was like, "Oh, I should be loading," and then it loaded, and then I was able to change it out. It's very hit or miss. It's another one of those. It could happen, or it might not. Like you never know.
Right.
Mm.
Well, let's move on to salvage. Right now we can only do the ship salvaging, I guess. Well, we can do a little bit of salvaging on the ground with the getting boxes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I would say that that's a little bit more dangerous than going out into space to do that salvaging. 'Cause
Yeah.
don't you run into enemy on the ground a lot, even if it's just the AI, the NPCs?
Yeah. You're not gonna catch me ever salvaging on the ground, solo, that's for sure.
Right.
It's not safe down there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you're at, it's just you're gonna run into something or somebody because that's what they're looking for is the salvage, right? Like
Yeah.
because it's physicalized, they can take it.
I know that some people have been having trouble finding um, salvageable material in the like in space. I think that they've lowered the rate at which they have them out there now. So I think it's taking people a lot longer to
Mhm.
find. So it's not as fun, I don't think, if you can't find it very fast.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of those entry level just jump in and figure it out. Um, I do know that they didn't expect to take as much salvage as they did out. They're talking about putting more back in, but not putting it back to the Lagrange points where it was. They were experiencing people being griefers and pirates, like it's it's one thing to be like, hey, give me your stuff for X amount of money, or give me your stuff or pay X amount of money and I'll leave you alone. But it's another thing to come up on somebody and blow up their ship just so that you can take that salvage. Like I was salvaging in a reclaimer. There was myself and two others on the ship, and somebody had come up, but because I was busy talking to my chat, I didn't hear anything else that was going on, and we got blown up.
Oh yeah.
And this was when we were still able to salvage by a Lagrange point.
Wow.
Yeah, now we're not there, so now we don't have that issue. So I
Yeah.
like the idea of them putting it all, well, not all, but mostly in the Halo.
Right.
And
It's so
less,
big.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Catch
don't.
me if you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Find me if you can, really. It's more like it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you been able to get in mine or salvage at all?
A little bit. I've been doing, my videos and getting footage for that. So I go in and mine and to show how to do that and stuff. Um, but I haven't been in a lot. I'd like to be in more. But I just don't have a lot of time these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's understandable. It seems like now is the busiest time for everybody.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really busy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to medical rescue. So
Mm-hmm.
the med beacons, do we take them and why or why not? Why would you not take them? Um, so my thought is I don't normally take beacons, and probably unless it's like one of the ADI guys that I know. Because I have heard like, people will get attacked, when they go help from like a pirate or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think about, do you take any of the med beacons and help people out?
So I've taken one med beacon in the last year and a half that I've been playing. And it was somebody in my chat, in my Twitch chat, and pirate me beacons. And it was somebody in my Twitch chat, and I had gotten halfway there and realized I don't have anything to rescue this person with. So I'm like, hold on, I'm coming. So I had to go all the way back to a station. Well, I got back to the station and it said like rescue failed or whatever. And I was like, what the heck? He's like, yeah, I just logged out. It's easier.
Oh.
But I don't take them. Like, I'm way too scared of other
Right.
players.
You're too scared that they'll like pirate you or kill you as soon as you get them
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a fact, a risk. But if you do, if it's one of course, the ADI guys, that then that's pretty safe.
I would hope so, yeah.
Yeah, I would hope so. So the
Yeah.
PvE bunkers, do you ever do any of those? Do you like to do the PvE bunkers?
So I used to do a lot of bunkers back when I had quite a bit of AUEC. I bought a Carrick so that I could respawn there, and I would go do bunkers. Um, but not so much anymore. I kind of got tired of the AI just being way too overpowered. Like, they are too good.
Really?
Yes.
Would you normally go alone to do those?
Um, it would be
Mixture.
yeah. Um, yeah, like 'cause sometimes I would go alone and I would do okay because I did have something like a little bit of training when I first started. Like, this is how you clear a bunker.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just run in there and expect to not get hit. So I did have a little bit of training, but and I refused to touch them in 318.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
been on a bunker in a really long time, but when I typically go, it's usually with Jay and whoever he snags to go along with us. Um, and I always have fun doing those. I haven't had the chance to do any alone yet. Well, actually, I did try to do one alone.
Mm-hmm.
I had never done one before, so I took my ship out to a bunker, and of course, I'm getting shot at by the turrets because I didn't know to come in low and to park like 2 kilometers away. So I basically blow up because I was an idiot. So,
That's fair.
yeah. But
I've
now I've learned, by going with Jay, and like I think Turin was with us for the first time I went. Now I know how to get in there. So
mhm.
when I get the chance, I may try to go by myself.
The turrets. I actually blew up I was taking a friend. He doesn't really play Star Citizen. It was myself, Tara, and another friend that doesn't really play Star Citizen. He jumps in every now and then, like he's starting to get into it a little bit more, but the three of us, we were in a Cutlass Steel, I think, and I was piloting, and I'm not very good. As soon as I see that that I'm targeted, I start to panic.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I got closer, and the turrets started shooting us, and they blew us up. Well, I forgot to reset my spawn.
Well,
I was
Jay has a
across the
oh,
way.
Jay has a question. Jacqueline,
Mm-hmm.
can you move it to the questions? Um, he is asking, where did you get your training from?
Terraphon. Terraphon trained me. Yes, everything I know this far in game, Tara helped me learn it, and then I just worked on that over and over and over and over. And
Right.
that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, I pretty much get my training from Jay, so
Yeah.
about the same. Because whenever I get into a group, I'm usually follow, just tagging along with him and whoever he brings.
Yeah.
So,
Normally, I don't get a chance to play like off of stream, so I don't really group up very often, unless I'm not streaming, and then I'm like, oh, I have a couple hours, let me play too.
hmm
So it's hard.
well, let's move on to segment 4. Um, we got solo versus group play, and I know both of us like to solo more than
Mm-hmm.
we play in groups. Um, but what do you think is more difficult, gameplay wise, to go solo or to go group?
Um,
I feel like there's maybe differences, like it depends on what you're doing.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's definitely dependent on like what's happening. If I'm mining, I solo all the way.
Right.
Um,
So you'll never get the what is the ship that does the three, the mole? Is
the
it the mole?
mole, no,
You'll never
I
get a mole.
I do not like the mole at all. If one
Really?
of my friends is like, "Hey, do you want to come like man a turret in my mole?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." What if I refuse to buy it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because you don't want to be the captain or the flying, because you want to actually
Yeah,
mine, right? So you'd
exactly.
rather go with somebody who's got a mole,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's how I am too. Like I'd rather do the mining part than the flying. So,
yeah.
and the downside, some of the downsides with possibly playing with other people is you have to wait for the group to get together. You have to all meet up in one place.
Yeah.
Um, you
Sharing.
have to
It,
share your profits.
yeah.
But there is one thing about like the salvage. You got the vulture. If you have somebody back there in the back with you, of course you have to share the profits if they move your boxes for you, but you can also go a lot faster.
Hmm.
So the payoff, I guess, is, more profits or go faster. Of course, if I go with Jay, he'd probably just let me keep all the money. So,
Yeah.
because he's nice that way.
Yeah. I agree with salvage. So I tried it solo, and it's not bad. It's definitely doable if you're just looking for something to chill and do.
Yeah. You just do
Um,
2 boxes, get up, move it, do 2 more
yeah,
boxes.
but it goes a lot faster when you have another person moving those boxes for
Yes.
you. It goes even faster if you put them onto if you yourself are salvaging, you have somebody pulling the boxes and putting it into another ship.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
goes a
right.
lot faster.
Right. Because they can just take
Go
the
and sell.
car when they get full, they take the cargo,
Yeah.
and you could just keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
As
you
long
don't
as
even
you're
have
in a
to.
party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which makes it nice.
Yeah, and you can keep going, and then you can just like go find more salvage, get that while they're off selling,
Yeah.
and
So in that
it's just
situation, I
nonstop.
wouldn't mind, sharing with everybody because I think you're going to make
Mm-hmm.
more in that than you are soloing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It goes faster. I feel like the faster it is, the more profit you're gonna make.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's the same way with mining. If you have a buddy that can go out and and scan for you,
Mm-hmm.
and find the rocks you need, then you don't have to spend all that time searching. You just go straight there. You
Yeah.
mine it, if it's, of course, if it's quantanium. Oops. If it's quantanium, I guess you have to go pretty much right away, though, don't you?
Quantanium, yeah, you do. You have very little time. Well, I say very little
So
time, but
you
you have
really
40
just want to find
minutes.
a chunk of rocks that have, so you can fill up in in
Yeah.
one setting, right?
It's really bad when you're out there and you come across some really good rocks, like a group of 10. Most of them are 2%, but you have like a 20%, like a 30 something percent, and then you have that really good like 49% rock. It's bad because you can't come back to that unless you have somebody to come mark that for you,
Right.
or you have like a box or something. I don't carry boxes with me. Like, I don't go do a delivery beforehand. I should start because I've been finding a lot more of that than just good solo rocks.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I will say one of the nice things about a group is like everybody kind of has their own skill sets. You got someone who can fly, you got someone who can do the other things,
Yeah.
which is kind of nice to have too.
Hmm.
Um, and we all, I guess, have our specialties
Yeah.
to work with.
Hmm.
Um, but why don't we move on to segment 5? Um, and our experiences in the verse this week. What have you done this week? I haven't done very much, so I don't have a lot to speak of in the verse.
Have you been able to get in this week?
Yeah, I have a little bit. At the beginning of the week, I had some trouble. I couldn't get in, or when I did get in, I couldn't get on a shuttle. It was they were
Uh,
all just lined up in a row, and they weren't
yeah.
moving. So that was a bummer. But recently, I've been getting in, and it's been a lot better. What
Hmm.
about you?
I've been able to get in every day this week. Last week was iffy. I mean, I got in. I was slow getting in, but I've gotten in. And the hot fix that they've or the hot fixes that they've been rolling out have been pretty nice. And they seem to help a little bit, not completely. You can tell like when the servers are about to go down, everything, and I mean everything, stops working. You can't scan, you can't call elevators, you can't do anything.
Really?
And then yeah, and then suddenly they're back up again. What, like they didn't even fully 30K.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a little bit of. I have a controller that I was doing a video on,
Mm-hmm.
but I was having trouble getting my controller configured to the inside the thing. I kept
Yeah.
getting well, I was trying to use it to make my speed go higher or and lower, but it would going backwards, like, or it was
Oh.
opposite. So if I pushed, it would slow down. So I was having trouble figuring out how to like reverse that. So I
Oh.
finally figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah. So
I like to use Arena Commander when I'm testing out my controls and getting new things set up.
oh yeah, that helps.
It helps tremendously. That's actually because I went straight from mouse and keyboard. Like I was maybe mouse and keyboard for like a month before I got got some sticks,
Yes.
and I spent so many hours in Arena Commander setting up my sticks, just learning how to use them. And even still, I forget a lot of like, oh, I have to do this to get this way, or like
Yeah.
Arena Commander is really good for that.
Well, that's good. That's good to
Mhm.
know. Well, I have a comment here. There's Charlotte Rose King. She just,
Mhm.
or I don't know if it's a girl or boy. They just joined ADI
Mhm.
as bread and butter gal. She didn't
Mhm.
realize that HangarReady was part of ADI till now. So welcome to ADI and HangarReady.
Yes, welcome.
um, Also, Terrafon said, "Way to throw a brother under the bus." um, I don't know. Now he's gonna have to train you into being a one-woman death machine.
Oh, against the super crazy AI.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
going through Siege of Orison the first time that the AI was crazy. We
Yeah.
had enemy surrounding us everywhere. It was so crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they're bad. Like they have insane aim, and it like
I know,
not
right?
not even the best players can aim like
And
they do.
insane
It's amazing.
tactics too, where they just
Yes.
completely just surround you on all sides.
And they just more keep coming out of nowhere. Yeah, it's
Yes.
crazy.
We finally learned to use silencers on the guns, and it
Mm.
really helped. It
Yes,
really
yes.
helped a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to your mining competition. What is your mining competition, and when is it?
All right. So I started running mining competitions a few months back. So what it is it started in my community. I had a couple people being like, you think you're the best? Let's put this to the test and see. I was like, all right, I got you. Like, let's do this. So every competition is different. They come with different rules. This one in particular, we're just using a rock because they are cheap in game. Whether you rent it or you buy it, they're still relatively cheap. Um, Sometimes I set limits on where you can mine. This time you can mine wherever you want, but it has to be solo. No scouts. Um, why I say that is because there's some people that, they only have half an hour to play. It's a pain for them to set up a scout with them, or if they're by themselves and somebody else has a scout or two scouts. It's not fair. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah,
that person's at a very big disadvantage. So this time, no scouts.
that
Uh,
sounds like fun. What can you win in the competition?
okay, so normally I just do it for channel points on my Twitch channel. But this time I'm going to do AUEC because what better time than after a wipe? Everybody needs money.
Oh, that is a good one. Good idea.
So yeah, so we take the top three. What you do is you post you send in your top 5 hauls from like whatever, however long you want.
Right.
Uh, it'll be Monday the 27th until the 31st, Friday the 31st. So you have that entire week to go out, rock mine, and post your top 5 or upload your top 5 hauls. And whoever has the highest amount gets more AUEC than second, then third. Um,
So how do you know if
and yeah,
somebody like how do you know that they haven't scouted?
I don't. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like a, it's
Honor
kind of
honor system.
yeah. And then, it's one of those things like, I actually did have to make it so somebody else couldn't take part in any more mining competitions because they had cheated.
Oh.
So like, uh, there's ways to find out, like maybe like in the future I'm like, oh yeah, like how are you getting so much while you're rock mining,
Right,
like,
right.
and then they're like, oh, I have a friend, and it's like, yeah, you're out.
Right. Yeah, you can kind of look at if they have just a lot higher amount than other people,
Mm-hmm.
then that kind
Yeah.
of gives you a clue a little bit. Like, that is that really possible? You know.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would like to have people ask questions right now if they want to put their questions in. But we can keep talking about any highlights that you have. Um, what
Um,
kind of things are you looking forward to in the future?
I'm really looking forward to mining missions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm constantly flying through the Halo and I'm skipping P types or M types because I'm only looking for Q types as that's what's
Right.
going to make me the most money.
Mm-hmm.
Mining missions, I feel, is going to bring that whole new, hey, you actually need to mine those P types or you need to mine those M types.
Right. Like they
Whereas
might need those resources for people to go buy or something.
yeah, like right now they're just there's no need for them.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Like they're not worth as much as Quantanium pays.
right.
Hmm. Yeah. What about you? What are you looking forward to most?
Um, I want to do the vulture or sorry, the salvage missions. Is
Yes.
probably what I'm looking forward to.
Hmm.
And mining missions too. I like the mining as well.
Hmm.
Um, so it'll be interesting to see what kinds of new missions they're gonna put out for the
Hmm.
future because there's so many different things that they can do for that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
Jay has a question. He put, so top haul, does that mean single rock load or as much as you can find in one sitting?
As much as you can find in one sitting. Um, so, well, not exactly one sitting. So, as much as you can find in that time frame that you are on. So, if day one you're only on for 2 hours, but you get 1,000 SCU of whatever gem type I tell you, um, then you would upload that screenshot if that was one of your best. Um, and yeah, that's this first one. I just made it kind of easy, just because, like I said, it's right after a wipe, so nobody
Mhm.
really has that large amount of AUEC or a
Right,
prospector.
right. Well,
So,
Duma Loop says that Hindrosa always cheats at those, by the way.
of course he does, because he doesn't mind.
Yes. Funny. Um, any more questions out there for us that you have? Um, I really hope when I do start playing again, or when like even ADI starts doing more missions, I need to start going with them, because
Hmm.
it is fun to go with the group stuff
Yeah.
too. Especially like I want to do more of the turrets because I
Yeah.
actually do like the turrets.
I agree. I don't go out with enough ADI. Like I
Yeah,
do have most of my friends are in ADI, but we don't like I don't go out with many others, and I need to.
yeah, I do too. I
Yeah.
just am not good at asking like a group to go. I'd rather be asked
Yeah.
personally,
Me
because I
too.
feel like I'm putting somebody out if I'm like, oh, will you come help me like salvage or do something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so I do like to be asked. I actually like to help a lot. So I like like doing the secondary things for people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. If somebody was like, hey, I see you're on. Do you want to jump in and do this with me? 9 times out of 10, as long as I'm not streaming, I'm down for it. As long as I don't have to be the pilot.
yeah. All right. So Terrafon has posted a question. He put, "What are your thoughts?" Uh-oh. don't work. What are your thoughts on um, the upcoming, often talked about, need to change out components inside the ship, and the fact that it will force multi-crew and multi-crew ships?
Uh, you know what? I think that's good because everybody is trying, and I mean, like, most people that I talk to, they're out there trying to solo multi-crew ships.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And uh, I personally think that's just silly. Like, it's a multi-crew ship. It's not a solo ship. Um, so I feel like that's going to be more required to take somebody else with you,
Right.
at least one more person in your multi-crew
I
ship.
think the game is geared more towards going with the crew than it is to go solo. I
Yeah.
think that's why they added a lot of multi-crew ships and the ability, because they're going to add the ability to have to do the engineering. And as the
Mhm.
pilot, you're in going solo, you're not going to really be able to keep your ship uh, in top shape.
Yeah.
Things are going to start failing, and you got to get out of your seat to go do that if you're solo.
Yeah. I feel on a solo ship it'll be less tedious, whereas
Yeah,
like the multi-crew ships, it's like, well, you should have somebody else with you, so you two of you should be able to work on this and get it done in a timely manner. But if only one person, then I feel like that component is more likely to fail
yeah,
because it's a bigger ship, multi-crew ship with a bigger, let's
yeah.
say, drive.
And
So,
you can have somebody who can monitor that stuff too, because I'm sure they're going to
mhm.
have like levels of like, oh, this thing is getting pretty low on whatever, it needs some maintenance. So,
Yeah.
and if you have somebody looking at that, they can go
Yeah.
fix it right away before it even breaks, because you do want to
Yeah.
keep things going.
So if anybody wants to become an engineer for me, my ship's always open.
I might do it. I like engineering stuff, so I like putting stuff together and fixing stuff. I
Yeah.
do I do it more than Jay does, mainly because I just like it.
Yeah. I was actually kind of worried when they mentioned like engineering. I was like, "Oh man, like I solo a prospector. Like am I going to have to stop mid jump to
You're gonna
fix
have to
this?
hire
Like
somebody to to fix you.
just sit with me like
Right, right. 'Cause they can't really sit in your prospector. It's a solo.
they have to lay on the bed. Like
Yeah,
there's
right.
nowhere for them to be."
Yeah, just hang out for a while and just be
Yeah.
bored, right?
Right.
Until
Just please
something
make sure.
breaks.
Yeah. Please make sure my ship doesn't set on fire.
Right, right.
Yeah.
If anybody has more questions, would be great. Um, yeah.
I I do have a question for
Oh,
you
sure.
actually. I know you use a throttle for mining. Do you mouse and keyboard and use the throttle, or how do you do it?
Yeah, I do mouse and keyboard. Well, I mostly do the mouse because it's easier to hit the button with my left, with that finger, than to hit the button on my quadrant. But I do like the sliding up and down. It makes it's really more precise, I guess, than like the mouse
Mhm.
wheel.
Mhm.
And so I do like that better.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I hit the mouse to turn on and off the laser and stuff, for
Mhm.
that part. So I kind of do both.
Mhm.
And I do, if I need to get closer, use the keyboard. So I'm kind of all over the place with it, but it's really not that bad. Not that bad to do all three.
I bought that same throttle I saw in the Hangar Ready video like a while back because I was prior to even getting six because I was like, well, I, I hate the mouse wheel. Like it drives me insane. It doesn't sometimes it's not responsive or when it does respond it's too delayed. And so I was like, I need this. So I bought it. And my husband set it up for me and I hated it.
Really.
I could not get it to do what I wanted it to do. And
Yep.
it didn't matter where I changed my settings, how I changed them,
What
I
is it that
could
you
not
bought
get
again? I'm sorry, I missed that part.
the throttle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we couldn't get it to work how I wanted it to work, so then I just gave up with it.
Oh,
And
okay.
and eventually just got sticks, so
Are you gonna send it back? Do you have the ability to send it back?
no, because this was like shortly after I started playing, so like
Oh, okay. You
over
did.
a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might want to pop it out and see if you can get it to work now, you know?
I could. I have my all of my mining settings and like bindings are set up on my sticks.
Right.
So I don't need to take my hands off of my sticks. So I still have the ability to fly away if I need to.
Okay. That's nice.
Or
So you have
yeah,
a HOTAS and everything, like to do everything with.
I use two sticks.
Right.
So on my left stick starts my mining laser, and it gives me the ability to change it from mining or scanning depending on what I'm doing.
Uh-huh.
And then it also strafe forwards, sideways like that. It'll do that. And then on my right stick controls my mining laser, um, which has worked out really well. It seems a lot smoother than
Yeah.
than previous. So
That's good.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a HOTAS to fly with. I would like to get one. But Jay actually has very good HOTAS, which I don't think we can get anymore. So I don't have one of those right now. So I fly mouse and keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
But when I mine, I also have a little shuttle that I used to use too, for
Mm-hmm.
mining, which I think I like the quadrant throttle better,
Yeah.
for mining. It get, but they're both pretty good.
Yeah. It's
Um,
very, very user dependent, I feel. Like I know some really good miners that are only mouse and keyboard, like they don't have anything
yeah,
else. And even like you know, when I use a mouse, I'm like, man, this is frustrating. But I see them do it like it's nothing.
yeah. It takes a little practice to get
Yeah.
used to, how that mouse wheel moves it back and
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah.
I've gotten pretty good at the mouse. Like I'll push it all the way up and then just like slowly just bring it back as it gets closer until I'm at the level I want. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, I guess that um we're pretty much finished. Nobody's asking any more questions. Um but I do want to say that we have another show next week on what day is it at again? Is it March 30th?
March 30th. Yep.
March 30th at 9 p.m. Central Time. So I would love it if everybody would come back next week to watch us again. I guess we will sign off. Say bye. Thank you for
Bye.
watching, everyone.